The life of Hiashi Hyūga from Naruto. Hiashi Hyūga is a shinobi from Konohagakure, as well as the current head of the Hyūga clan. Welcome to the Amagi. In today's video, we're going over the life of Hiashi Hyūga. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. YouTube sometimes unsubscribes users from channels, so even if you think you've subscribed, you might not be, so be sure to scroll down and check. The Amagi's reach stretches beyond just this channel, so if you're a fan of us, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all our social media. Help us reach our goal of passing 100,000 followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. Background. Hiashi was born only seconds before his twin brother, Hisashi, making Hiashi the head of the Hyūga clan and Hisashi a member of the branch house, whose only purpose in life would be to protect the members of the main house. Years later, when Neji was born, Hisashi became bitter that his son would never be able to reach his full potential like a member of the main house, causing him to be openly resentful of Hiashi and his daughter. Hiashi was also responsible for branding the family's curse seal on Neji's forehead, further straining the relationship between the two brothers. One day, during Hinata's training, overwhelmed with resentment and anger, Hisashi gave Hinata a murderous glare. Hiashi sensed the killing intent and activated the curse seal on his younger brother, causing him intense pain. He told Hisashi to leave as he would no longer tolerate incidents like this, telling him to never forget his duties. During a visit to Konoha by a head ninja of Kumogakure who had come to the village to sign a peace treaty, a young Hinata was kidnapped. Hiashi, however, saved her, quickly killing her would-be kidnapper, only to discover that it was the Kumogakure ambassador. Kumogakure demanded Hiyashi's head in return for the life he had taken or risk resuming open warfare between the two villages. Konoha, wishing to avoid another conflict, was compelled to comply, but was not willing to fulfill Kumogakure's desire of getting to study the Byakugan. Their father suggested that Hisashi be used as a body double since his cursed seal would seal off his Byakugan upon death. Although Hiashi tried to find an alternative to this, Hisashi insisted, saying that he would finally get to choose his own fate, to make up for his wrongdoings against Hiashi and save his brother's life. Before going to his death, he asked Hiashi to someday tell Neji about why he had made his decision. Originally, Hiashi had trained Hinata to become the successor of the Hyūga clan. However, Hinata's lack of confidence ultimately led him to decide she was not worthy. Instead, he turned his attention to his younger daughter, Hanabi. Chūnin Exams. Hiashi made his first debut in Kurenai's flashback, when she was watching Hinata and Neji's match in the preliminary matches of the Chūnin Exams. Hiashi debuted for the first time in person with Hanabi, watching Neji's match during the final rounds. He was amazed that Neji had been able to learn the main house's secret techniques by himself, but was disappointed by Neji's resentment of the main house and his strong belief in fate. After Neji lost to Naruto Uzumaki, and seemed to have found himself at a crossroads in his life from Naruto's words, Hiashi decided to tell him about the circumstances surrounding Hisashi's death. Although Neji did not initially believe him, Hiyashi's bowing to him for forgiveness showed him that it was true. In the anime, he also gives Neji a letter written by Hisashi explaining the circumstances surrounding his death. Konoha Crush. When the invasion that was devised by Otogakure and the once allied Tsunagakure ninja began, Hiashi assisted the other Konoha shinobi in driving the renegade forces out of the village. Surrounded by shinobi, one of whom confidently commented that there was only one opponent and several of them. With his Byakugan activated, Hiashi used the 8 trigrams palms revolving heaven to defeat all of them in one fell swoop. He then told them that the Hyūga were the strongest in Konoha, a fact they would do well to remember. Search for Tsunade. Hiashi was seen at Tsunade's inauguration ceremony as the 5th Hokage, alongside Neji and Hanabi. Sasuke recovery mission. Towards the end of the arc, after the Sasuke recovery team returned to the village and Neji was resuscitated by the medics at the hospital, Hiashi began taking a more active role in Neji's training. They were seen at the Hyūga estate sparring until Hinata brought them tea, and Hiashi declared that they should take a break. During this time, the three casually chatted until Kiba Inuzuka, Akamaru, and Shino Aburame arrived on the compound to get Hinata. Pain's assault. Hiashi was noted to be away with Hanabi during Pain's attack on Konoha. He left Hinata's protection to Ko-Hyūga during his absence. In the anime, while he and Hanabi were dealing with political matters between the Hyūga and allied clans, such as the Takatori clan, they received word about the attack. Upon returning to the village, they were horrified at the level of destruction following the attack, and even more surprised to hear that no one had died. What truly amazed Hiashi was that it was Naruto who saved everyone, after he was protected and inspired by Hinata, who risked her life to help Naruto. Later, having been inspired by her sister's actions, Hanabi cheerfully asked her father to train her more, to which Hiashi proudly agreed. Before we continue, I want to thank Private Internet Access for sponsoring today's video. Private Internet Access is the world's leading VPN provider, with over 30 million users, and for good reason. Thanks to their no-logs policy, you're guaranteed a secure internet experience and don't need to be afraid of your data being stolen. As it changes your IP address and reroutes your internet traffic through an encrypted tunnel, Private Internet Access hides your online activity from your internet service provider, network administrator, and government censors. If you've watched our videos and became interested in anime but your country's Netflix doesn't have it, Private Internet Access is here to catch you. Private Internet Access works with all major streaming services, so you have unrestricted access to all your favorite content anywhere in the world. Plus, it's one of the few VPNs that fully supports peer-to-peer file sharing and torrenting. And you don't have to worry about any nasty ads, trackers, or other malicious content online. Private Internet Access is available on all platforms, so even if you think your device is not up to date, Private Internet Access will gladly prove you wrong. And to put icing on the cake, signing up for Private Internet Access is risk-free. There's a 30-day money-back guarantee, plus their highly skilled customer support team of experts is available 24/7. Use our link today to have complete digital privacy for only $2.08 per month for 3 years, and 2 months free. It's a steal. Don't miss out and get your Private Internet Access today. With that, back to the video. Fourth Shinobi World War, Confrontation. When Hiashi returned to Konohagakure, he was assigned to the 1st Division of the Allied Shinobi forces under Darui's command. While his division was taking up their post and Akatsuki's army was starting to advance, Hiashi used his Byakugan and saw not only White Zetsu army clones, but many revived shinobi mixed in with them, including, much to his shock, his brother, as well as Dan and Asuma amongst the reincarnated shinobi. Hiashi confronted Hisashi, who cursed that though the branch family was supposed to protect the main house, he stood before him as an enemy, and lamented that this must be his fate for defying the main house while he was alive. Remembering his brother's last words to him before his death, Hiashi stated that there was no such fate, and that Neji and Hinata were on the battlefield fighting alongside one another to prove that. Not as branch house and main house members, but as two comrades protecting one another. With this, the two brothers began battling. As the battle at the coast concluded, Hiashi stood on Choji's colossal fist as the latter restrained his brother in his fist. Fourth Shinobi World War, Climax. Hiashi, along with the rest of the allied shinobi forces, later relocated to the battlefield where the Jinchūriki were. Announcing their arrival, Hiashi apologized to his fellow Jonin that they had kept them waiting so long, and commended Ino for diverting the Ten Tails attack. After the beast transformed and fired another tailed beast ball, Hiashi saw it destroy an entire town, and watched on as another one aimed at the Alliance's headquarters. Later, Hiashi and Neji repelled the Ten Tails attack, and went on to tell Naruto that in war there was always the possibility that people might die, but they had to fight on to ensure that everyone didn't, and that he, Neji, and Hinata were going to protect him. As the beast attacked the Alliance, Hiashi deflected the beast's tail and later watched on as Neji sacrificed himself to save Naruto and Hinata from a pinpoint attack. After his nephew succumbed to his injuries, he apologized to his brother for not being able to protect Neji, and later received some of the Nine Tails chakra from Naruto. Birth of the Ten Tails Jinchūriki. Hiashi later watched on as the events unfolded on the battlefield. When the Ten Tails body disappeared from the battlefield, and an Akamichi beside him questioned whether or not the beast had been defeated, Hiashi told him that was not the case. The last, Naruto the movie. 2 years after the war in the depths of autumn, Hiashi and his two bodyguards were confronted by Toneri Otsutsuki outside Konoha. After turning down his request, he's attacked and left defeated by Toneri's puppets. Heavily injured, Hiashi attempts to make his way back to Konoha, but collapses en route, where he's rescued by Sasuke Uchiha. Later, Sasuke returns Hiashi to Konoha to be treated. After the 5 Kage decide to destroy the moon, Hiashi pleads to Kakashi to reconsider as his daughters were on the moon. Hiashi later witnesses the moon cut in half by Toneri's attack. With Toneri's defeat, Hiashi hears the worldwide announcement about the moon crisis being averted alongside Kakashi's party. Konoha Hiden, the perfect day for a wedding. Hiashi attended Hinata and Naruto's wedding with Hanabi. Academy Entrance Arc. In the anime, as Boruto begins insisting that he has manifested the Byakugan, Naruto decides to bring him to Hiashi for answers. After doting on his grandchildren, much to Boruto's embarrassment and Himawari's delight, Naruto and Boruto explain the situation. Upon hearing this, Hiashi educates his grandson on the history of the Byakugan, and then decides to test Boruto with a sparring match to see whether he is truly awake in the dojutsu. Hanabi, however, decides she will do it instead, as Hiashi would end up going all out on Boruto and possibly throw out his back. Boruto does his best, but ultimately the heiress easily defeated her nephew, leading everyone to conclude that Boruto had indeed not manifested his Byakugan. Afterwards, it was decided that since it was so late, Naruto and his kids would spend the night in the Hyūga house. After dinner, Hiashi shared tea with Naruto and began discussing the grandkids. Naruto noted that he was happy to see that Boruto's false declarations about the Byakugan were not a mere attempt for attention, believing that Boruto did indeed obtain something special. He also admitted his relief that after all of Boruto's easy accomplishments thanks to his raw talent, it would be good for him to finally learn what it's like to struggle. He also confided to Hiashi that Himawari has seemingly been unable to access her Byakugan since her first usage, which Hiashi insisted to keep him informed on. He also asks Naruto to bring her again if anything else happens to her. Naruto agrees. Naruto Shinden, Parent and Child Day. While out shopping, Hiashi bought a large pile of presents to give to Boruto and Himawari. Although he realized he's bought too many gifts for them, he reasoned that he wouldn't want them to fight over the gifts by giving them too few. When he carried these presents home, he strained his back, forcing him to rest in bed. Hanabi sent news of this injury to Hinata, but Hiashi prevented her from being too detailed, as he was embarrassed by what happened. The message ended up being worded in such a way that Hinata believed Hiashi was near death, for which reason she left Boruto and Himawari at home. When Hinata came to visit him, Hiashi was disappointed to see that she came alone. While Hiashi silently got over his disappointment, Hinata and Hanabi quietly discussed him. Hiashi doted on his grandchildren, a stark departure from the harsh disciplinarian that raised Hinata and Hanabi. Hanabi hypothesized that Hiyashi's change of attitude and physical condition were because Hinata insisted on referring to him as grandfather whenever Himawari and Boruto were around, making Hiashi feel obligated to become an old man. Once Hiashi finally composed himself, he apologized to Hinata for the misunderstanding and asked about Naruto, the current Hokage. When she reported that he's so busy that he's rarely home, Hiashi appeared ready to comment on this, but changed his mind and instead asked about Himawari and Boruto. Hinata shared that Boruto, with the money he's made from missions, recently bought some bright pink pants for himself. Hiashi was delighted to learn that Boruto seems to like the color pink, and asked Hanabi if any of the presents he bought were pink. After checking with her Byakugan, Hanabi reported that all of the gifts were gray and brown. Hinata, fearful that her home would soon be filled with pink objects, told Hiashi that Boruto's preference for pink probably only applies to pants. Hiashi became sad again. Since Hiashi meant well, Hinata told him that Boruto had recently started collecting extreme Shinobi picture scrolls. Hiashi was unfamiliar with them, and Hinata didn't know much about them either, but Hanabi turned out to be quite knowledgeable. She showed him the binder she kept her extensive collection in. Hiashi liked the idea of giving Boruto some packs of cards, but since each pack's contents are random, Hinata warned that Boruto might be disappointed if he only gets cards he doesn't want. In truth, she feared those unwanted cards would litter her floors. While Parent and Child Day was going on, Hiashi visited the various candy stores around Konoha, looking for something suitable for Boruto and Himawari. In one store, he noticed them selling packs of extreme Shinobi picture scrolls. He discovered that he can use his Byakugan to peer inside the packs of cards and tell if they contain a rare card. He therefore decided to buy every such pack that he found to give to Boruto. When Shino Aburame noticed Hiashi, he tried to strike up a conversation with him on the grounds that both of them are superior to most of the store's other shoppers. But when he realized what Hiyashi's doing, Shino became disappointed that Hiashi would do something so petty. Hiashi felt no shame and happily bought all the cards he'd picked out. The day after Parent and Child Day, Hiashi was part of a crowd of people who gathered outside the Hokage's office. Because he was not able to see Boruto or Himawari at all during the holiday, he requested a Grandparent and Grandchild Day, so that he'd get to spend time with them. Despite the vehemence with which he advocated, Hiashi tried, unsuccessfully, to go unseen by Naruto, by hiding behind fellow grandparent Choza Akimichi. Naruto ultimately approved their request. Versus Momoshiki Arc. In the anime, Hiashi watched Naruto face Momoshiki Otsutsuki's tailed beast ball from the Hyūga residence. Time Slip Arc. In the anime, sometime after the defeat of Urashiki Otsutsuki, Hiashi had grown depressed from Boruto's apparent desire to avoid him. With his birthday fast approaching, his family decided to throw a party for him. He declined a challenge by Gatai of Kumogakure and later intervened when Boruto fought him over his disrespecting of Hiashi, causing Gatai to retreat. While grateful for Himawari's present of a scarf in hope of his continued good health, he was especially moved by Boruto's gift of a family photo, insisting that they should do one every year. Knowing how much Boruto didn't like mushy sentiments, he was overjoyed to see how much his grandson truly loved him. Personality. Hiyashi's general personality is very stern and strict, as he assigned both his daughters arduous training and rarely compliments their performance. Hiashi was willing to use the cursed seal to punish his brother and nephew for showing aggression towards the main house. This stern nature is especially true with Hinata. When she was assigned to Kurenai, he told her that he was unconcerned about the possibility that she would die, saying that the Hyuga clan had no use for a weak successor. However, he truly cares for them as part of the family, as is seen with his hesitation to allow his brother to die to protect the secrets of the Byakugan, or when he asked Kakashi not to destroy the moon, as he thought Hinata and Hanabi were on it. Similarly, he did not view Hinata's talent or potential weak, but her drive to succeed as the successor of the Hyuga clan. While a proud man who openly believes the Hyuga is the strongest clan of Konoha, Hiashi is also very honest, as he believed Hisashi should have been the clan's successor, after seeing Neji's pure talent and potential far surpassing both of his daughters. Also having great humility, Hiashi began to have doubts of the clan's caste system, after the noble sacrifice his brother made. Knowing of Neji's animosity towards the main house for its treatment towards the branch house, soon after Naruto Uzumaki made Neji question his choices in life, as the one who instilled Neji with such anger, Hiashi decided to make amends with his nephew by telling the full story of Hisashi's sacrifice, even going as far as to bow and apologize to his nephew. He also later decides to train Neji in the Hyuga clan's entire fighting style, which was not the norm to pass down such secret techniques to the branch house. This showed Hiashi to have become much more lenient and not as strictly devoted to traditions, thus starting to unify the clan once more. In later years, Hiashi is shown to become much more lighthearted and cheerful, doting over his grandchildren Boruto and Himawari. As noted by Kurenai Yuhi, this in fact had always been Hiyashi's true nature, but was previously suppressed by the loss of his brother and disillusioned by it into believing strength is everything to survive. Boruto himself stated he had a hard time believing Hiashi was so strict when his mother and father were teenagers. Hiashi admitted that it was seeing Naruto change Neji's outlook in life that ultimately helped him regain his former self. Even more, he became close with Naruto as his son-in-law addresses him as father. When he and Naruto are alone, he even encourages Naruto to cut all formalities, as he knows Naruto is not a naturally formal person. His overall outlook has grown to see violence as pointless and wishes to avoid it whenever possible, valuing life and the prosperity of his clan more than ever. He has also grown more humble as he believes his past actions would make him a hypocrite for lecturing Boruto for getting into unnecessary fights. At the same time, Hiashi has developed a sense of humor, where he told Naruto that Boruto being his son is precisely why he's worried about Boruto, referencing Naruto's mischief when he was younger. Did you enjoy our video? Be sure to check out these other great videos from the Amagi, and make sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.